Welcome back to Grief Inspired. My name is Catherine McNulty. I am here to talk about all things grief with you, to give you the support that you need, help you to connect with other people, and remind you that grief is a process, and I can help. Welcome back. One of the ways that I want to help you is with the grief journal that I put together. And I want to spend a couple minutes today talking about my grief journal in case you haven't heard of it, in case you don't know what it's about, because I want to share with you how it's going to help you, move forward in your grief. And maybe you can just give it a try. It's usually the first thing that I recommend is that you get my grief journal. If you like the journal, if it works for you, if you've watched several of my videos and you find my videos helpful, then I want to encourage you to jump into one of my courses. The grief journal. It's called Finding Hope, Love, and Grace in Grief. And I chose these words very carefully because the first class that I always have is about hope, because we need to fundamentally have hope and believe that we can get through the grief process. And I think that that's so hard because you don't hear that lots of places. I think the reason why a lot of people come to my YouTube videos is because they are all grounded in hope and the belief that yes, grief is difficult. It is a process that is going to put you through the ringer, but there's hope that you can get through it. And to be honest, you're going to come out on the other side. And what you will find is that you'll be better in terms of who you are, what you believe, what you value will become more strong than you ever thought possible. First is hope. Love is the second one. Finding hope, love, and grace. Love is the second word because everything about grief has everything to do with love. We would not be grieving if we did not love the people that we've lost. And the amount of grief that you're experiencing is equivalent to the amount that you loved the person. So the closer you are to the person that you've lost, the more grief that you are going to experience. And I want to just remind you, because I think so many people forget this, right? We minimize our grief and we forget that we loved this person for how long or how much, even if it was a short period of time. Like for me, my son only lived for 42 days. But he was with me during the pregnancy, and I had so much love. A mother has so much love for her child that, of course, my grief was very intense and very deep. And when we talk about grief, you have to talk about the pain, because grief and pain, they go hand in hand. So love and grief go hand in hand. And the pain that you experience through the grief process, also a result of love. And the last word that I chose in here was grace. And I chose grace because one of the things that, if you follow my videos and if you like watching my videos and you find them helpful, then I know that you're probably somebody who is definitely brave, but you sometimes are a little bit hard on yourself. And I know that because that's who I am. And so if you relate to that, that may be why you like watching my videos. And so when we talk about grace, grace is giving yourself a break just because. Maybe when you don't even think you deserve it. And the thing about grace that's so magical, right? Oftentimes they talk about grace as being a God-given gift. If you believe in God, right, it's a gift from God, meaning grace is something that you receive, that you get, not because you deserve it, but just because. And so sometimes we need to give ourselves grace and we need to learn how to ease up and not be so hard on ourselves. And that's such a fundamental part of the grief process. So that's why I chose those 3 words. It does have what we call writing prompts to get started. So for every day, there is a phrase and with what I call a writing prompt, and then a section to be able to write. So to give you a couple examples, here's one that says, one thing that makes me cry is, and you start writing based on that. Something I notice now that I never noticed before is, let me find another one. I am triggered when a memory I cherish most is, my grief is teaching me to. So those are all examples of some of the writing prompts that are in my book. And these prompts are all really to get you thinking. And if you want to see whether or not you would enjoy this journal, listen to the questions that I just asked you and take out a piece of paper and write them down and start working on them. Do 1 a day. And again, you write until you're done. So that's one section in this book. The first section that's up here, that you can see here, is what emotions are surfacing today, right? So it's observing your emotions. So often, and especially in grief, when things come up, we don't know exactly how we feel. I know I feel terrible. I know I feel miserable. I know that there is a sadness that is overwhelming, that feels like it's crushing me, right? So what emotion are you feeling? And I give you some words to think about. And I want to encourage you each day, because it changes day to day. Each day that you pick up the journal, the first thing I ask you is, what is going on with you? How are you feeling in the moment? And the other good thing about observing what is it brings you into the present moment. So for example, how are you feeling right now? I want you to drop the emotion that you are feeling in the comment section below. Here's some things. Maybe you're feeling numb. Maybe you're feeling lonely. Maybe you're feeling fearful or anxious. Maybe you're just exhausted. But maybe if you're watching my video, maybe you feel hopeful. Maybe you're inspired. These are all things that you can feel on different days, and there's a lot more emotions, and I just picked a subset. There's obviously many more emotions, so you can write in your own if you want to. But getting into the present moment and saying, hey, I feel today, I'm an 8 out of 10. I'm a 4 out of 10. Acknowledging where you are is a wonderful, wonderful gift that you can give yourself. And then the grace comes in with not making yourself wrong for it. So if you're feeling depressed again today or exhausted again today, are you further making it worse by beating yourself up? That's where grace comes in. So give yourself grace if that's what you're doing. So the next section then is the third section here that says, today I choose to find gratitude for what I have rather than what I've lost. The concept of gratitude is a hard one when you're in grief. But gratitude is a reminder of the things that you still have. Even if you've lost someone that you love, you are still alive. And that is something to be grateful for. Because I'll tell you what, there's a whole slew of people who didn't wake up this morning, who didn't make it through the night, who didn't survive yesterday. And although you may not feel like you're in an ideal situation right now, you are still alive. So that's one thing that you can be grateful for if you can't think of anything else. So many people tend to focus on the people who say the wrong things, who do the wrong things, on the people who have abandoned them. But what I want to encourage you to do when you think about gratitude, who's the one person who showed up for you? Who is the one person that did something that brought you a little bit of comfort, even if it was a while ago? Who were the people who came to you in the beginning when you needed the most help? Or if you're watching videos on YouTube, who is the person that, if you find the right video that's a little bit helpful, can you be grateful for that? So choosing gratitude, choosing to say, this is what I do have, is a place to start. And so that's something I encourage you to do every day. And the goal in the book is to pick 3 things. And then the last section that's here is, what do I need today? So often I have some videos where I talk about shoulding yourself. Sometimes we should ourselves and we say, well, I should be this way, or I should be doing this, or I should be doing that. And we force ourselves to do and be what we don't want, to go to an event that we really don't want to go to smile when we really don't feel like smiling, just to do things that really are not going to serve us. If you are grieving and you're deep in grief, part of giving yourself grace is saying, you know what, this might hurt your feelings, but no, I don't want to come to the event right now. I'm not in a place to come, but next time I will. Or maybe we could just meet one-on-one for coffee because I'm not ready to be out with lots of people. Or could you come to my house and visit me so that we could spend some time together? What do you need? That is the last section in the journal. And every day that's going to be different for you. For me, I needed a lot of time alone, but I didn't need to have too much time alone. Sometimes you need to be with people. Sometimes you need to be alone, but around other people, right? So just getting out of the house, or getting out in nature, or doing more gratitude. Well, I need to find gratitude because maybe you're not feeling a lot of gratitude like we had just talked about. Maybe, what do I need today? Maybe I need to exercise because I know, and if you've watched enough of my videos, exercise, change in your physical state will change your emotional state. Change your physical state. There are so many other things. Maybe you need to journal. Maybe you need to take a day to just rest because you've been trying to go and go and go. Maybe you need to slow down. So it's, what do you need today? And it's learning. What we do in my course is I teach you how to figure out what that is. And I give you different options and you try them on during the course and you say, okay, this works for me. I hated that. I liked listening to this person's videos. I liked reading this book. Those kind of things you can do. For anyone who wants to be in my course but doesn't feel like you have the finances to get into that course, that is why I created this journal. And this is a magnificent place to start. And you can look at it and you can say, hey, it's just a book. It's like $18 on Amazon. It's just a book. But this book, working through it, will transform your grief journey. And it will move you forward. And it will help you feel less alone. Get into this journal. If you're not in my Facebook group, I do have a Facebook group where you can connect and interact with people one-on-one and talk in a safe place about what's going on. And so you can share on a daily basis and say, here's how I'm feeling today. This is what's going on with me today. Share those things. That's what Facebook, that connection is for. You can share on this video here how things are going for you. But let us know, reach out, know that grief is a process and I can help and I want to help. And so this is one way that I try to do that. If you want to reach out to me on Gmail to ask a question, I want to encourage you to do that because I love answering your questions. Your questions are really, if you have a question, somebody else has that same question. And those questions are really the things that I find that make the best content for you, because they're real. They're real situations of what you're going through. And I can guarantee you, although it feels like when you're grieving, almost everybody I talk to says, I feel so alone. Like it's just part of grief. But the reality is there are so many other people who have been through similar situations, who have experienced some of the same pain, and they can understand in a way that, you know, maybe some of the people that you have around you can't. So thank you so much for watching this video. Please continue to like and subscribe so that it reaches more people, and we'll see you in the next video.